Hello, ladies. Welcome to the Sophie's Choice podcast show. My name is Sophie. I am your host, and so excited to take you with me into my quantum field. For those of you who don't know me, I am a psychologist specialized in quantum physics, law of attraction, anything mindset related, and I'm crazy. I'm super crazy, and I activate you in your highest timeline. So if you're ready to manifest next level shit in your life, this is the show for you. Hope you enjoy. Hello, hello, hello. I am in my new studio. What? Sophie? New studio? Where are you talking about? Well, I will tell you. And the people who have been following me for a very long time know this story. But in 2018, right after I gave my first event, I was like determined that I would find my own office space, like an office space, a creative workspace outside my house where I could just go to create content, like just a place outside my home. I just always felt that would be very beneficial for my energy because your house is like so filled with other energy, right? It's the place where you live, and it's the place where all your laundry lays and where you see all the things that still have to be done. The energy is like filled like the place is filled with energy, and that is not always the best energy to be creative. Not for everybody. I know some people love they're like, well, I actually only think that that's when you're alone, right? I know my mom, she loves her house and it's a place where she can be super creative, but she lives alone, so I think that is different. But in my case, I just have a beautiful husband, I have a beautiful daughter, we have a beautiful home, but it can get super messy, and it's just like, it's not that easy for me to create content there. So usually I go into the car and create content there. And I had totally let go of this whole idea of having our own space. It wasn't at all in my mind anymore. I tried to do it in 2018, 19. I looked for places, I visited places. I was very like in the initiative mode, and it led to freaking nothing. And this, I think, is a beautiful example of how manifesting works, because when you are super initiating and when you're super attached to the outcome because you feel like I have to have the space, otherwise I cannot make this happen, or I cannot do my business, it's not working because there's too much urgency on it, right? So I had totally let go of it. I mean, it wasn't in my mind at all for years, basically. And sometimes it would pop up and be like, oh, it would be amazing. But you know what? I have found my solution, right? I just get into the car and record episodes there. And I was all good. And then recently, as you guys have been noticing, I have been making a lot of quantum shifts, right? I have done the experiment in December. I'm currently doing a new experiment with a new group of women for the months of January and February. And I told you guys, I mean, if you're joining the experiment, things are going to happen. Things are going to change. And it is happening not only in my life, but in the life of my clients as well. But in my life also, right? And I feel like I'm like 23 was an era, and then 24 is like a whole other era, right? And actually, I'm always really bad in details. Like, that's one of my worst things. But I follow this astrology thing every single month, a full moon gathering. It's something I have been following for a very long time. And I actually never really listened to the whole recording, but there's always something in the recording that that gets my energy, and it's like, oh, this is interesting. And last month I was listening to it, and the guy was explaining that the last couple of, I don't know how many years, we have been in a specific era. I think it's Pisces, or I don't know. Anyways, a specific astrological era where struggle was actually necessary for growth. And when he said that, I found it so interesting, because when you think of your parents and your grandparents, like, life was pretty hard, right? And there was a lot of struggle, and through the struggle they grew. And we all are conditioned in a way that we need sort of like a struggle to grow. We need to suffer to grow. That is like really ingrained in our system. And I have always felt that this whole new generation that is now coming into the physical reality, our children, all the new babies, that they come with a very different energy. And when he said in that broadcasting that we actually have now moved in end of December, we have moved into a new era, I think Aquarius. Again, guys, don't shoot the messenger. I'm really bad at these things. But anyways, it's not about the details. It's about the global story here. We have moved into a new era where struggle is no longer necessary for growth. And when he said that, something just, I don't know, something relaxed in my nervous system and in my womb area. And it was like, oh my goodness. It resonated so deeply with me. And I've been wanting to share this for a longer time, but I just didn't feel called yet. And I was like, yes, this is the moment, right? Because 24, we do not need to struggle anymore for growth. You can still choose to struggle if that's your thing, but it's totally not my thing. So I'm just like, okay, it's not necessary anymore, so I'm not doing it anymore, right? And it is such a different energy. And the thing that just unfolded with this office space is a beautiful example of that, because one of my neighbors actually offered me to, or actually she offered me a photo shoot. We're doing this Friday. And I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool, amazing. And then just one day I was thinking, oh, I just want to create some reels, and like at home, the energy and the vibe is like a little bit different. And I love doing like reels in like a studio setting. So I was like, well, just send her a message and see if I can rent her studio for an afternoon to make reels. She was like, yeah, of course, you can just go there. You don't have to rent it. You can just go there and see what you think. So I went there last week and I had the freaking time of my life. I was like, this is freaking amazing. But what was even more amazing was that she handed me her keys. And I found out that this beautiful space that she rents is like a 5-minute walk from our house. It is literally on a road that I have passed like a million times, because when we still had our beautiful dog in our physical reality, I would actually walk him on that road. So I have passed this building a trillion times. So in 2018, when I was looking for the spot, I have passed this space for a trillion times, never seen it. She hands me the keys. I go to this place. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just in awe that this is like in 5 minutes walk. And she told me her number from her studio. But there was a different set. There was also another key on that keychain, because her previous studio was also there. And she had told me, yeah, you can take a look at that old studio. See, maybe you could just see, maybe you like it. I walk up the stairs and I immediately walk to a door and I put in the key and it opens up right away. And I literally thought that this was her studio. So I open it up and I look at this place and I'm like, oh my God. I don't know. I got this sense like this is my place. And then I was a little bit confused and I was like, is this her studio? I'm like, oh, no, this is not her studio. This is a studio that is available or becoming available. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking loving it. So I leave the studio. I go to her studio. I work there all day long. I absolutely love it. And I'm texting her, right? I'm like, oh my goodness, do you think that this place is available? She's like, yeah, the person who's renting it has not yet set how do you say that, stop the lease, so it's not yet available, but I will give you a sign when it is. And I was like, I want that space, but I also felt like something wasn't right. So I told my husband and my mom, and their response was like, also like, maybe Sophie, you should think this over. And usually when they say that to me, it is a reflection of what I'm thinking. So I usually get angry with them if they do that, because I feel like, oh, why aren't you just on board? But I know it's always like a reflection. So they reflected to me like, okay, there's something that is just not yet aligned. And I sort of thought about it and was like, yeah, it doesn't feel, I can't explain why, but it doesn't feel aligned to right away do the lease and commit to a long term. And something was just wrong. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I didn't know what, but something wasn't wrong, right. So I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna let this go. And I called my mom and we spoke about it. I'm like, I know I shouldn't do it when I feel this way because it's not from the right energy. So I completely let go, and I hang up with my mom, and I said to my mom, I said to the universe, I really, really love this space. So just show me how it's possible, show me what to do. But I'm just like, I just really love this space. So I said that again, completely let go. I thought like, okay, it doesn't matter. I have the option to rent the studio from my neighbor every week. So I have a space to go to. So there's no urgency. Let it go. And I think this is the key of today. When you let go of the urgency, the manifestation can happen. That is really the key. This is why sometimes when people, for example, borrow money, sometimes their manifestation process gets really speed up because all of a sudden the urgency is gone and they can manifest way easier. So anyways, I totally let go. And then all of a sudden my neighbor sends me this message. She's like, I spoke to the person who currently is renting it, and she is actually willing to rent it to you as a trial. And I'm like, oh my freaking goodness. So right away, I get this instant message from my spirits, and they say, okay, these are the contingencies. If you can get it for this, it is yours. So I sent her this message, the current owner. I sent her this message. I'm like, okay, this is what I envision. This is like the price. Are the contingencies. If you're okay with this, I will move in this Tuesday. And she replies like literally within an hour. And she's like, yes, that sounds amazing. So this is how I manifested it. I am now in the studio. It's for a 1 month trial. The reason why I wanted to do a trial is because I love using it on Tuesdays, but I would really also love it to use it on Wednesday and Thursday on my office days where my husband goes to the office. And then I want to really see how it is to work here on Wednesday and Thursday with my daughter present. So if you go to my Instagram later this week, I probably will post a reel there as well where I show you the studio. I've created this beautiful space for my daughter with like a princess gown and with a something, a sort of checkout thing with money and with all sort of paintings and like cupcakes and tea where she can play. So I'm so curious to see how that is unfolding, if she likes it and if I'm able to do stuff while she's here. So I'm really excited to experiment with that this week. But I really want to do this episode for you guys to let you know, like, if you really desire something, when you let go of the urgency and when you sort of create a different solution, that's when your nervous system relaxes, and then that's actually when a manifestation can come in. So I hope this was super helpful. If you're listening to this on Spotify, I have actually discovered a new function, because if you're listening to Spotify, you will see below the episode that you can actually ask me a question. You can just literally type your question there and send it to me, and I will see it, and I will be able to answer that in any future episode. So that is a very fun gadget that is now available in Spotify. So would love for you to leave me a question if you have one, if you want to leave a review or just an insight that you got out of this episode. That will be amazing to post there as well. It's not public, so people don't necessarily see it. I can publish it, so I have the option to publish it, but it can also be private. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm having the time of my life creating reels here. If you're not yet on my Instagram and you want to get some crazy ass next level inspiration, go there because it is epic. I believe that the last early bird ticket are just being sold. I have like 2 people who contacted me, and I think that's it. They're done. So next week the price is going up to $1,500. So if you're currently going to the website and you still see the option of the early bird open, you can still book it. I'm telling you guys, it is such an amazing place that I've booked. I've done it today. I've booked the location. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to overthink. This is the place. This is what Spirit has shown me. I trust it. Yes, it is a an investment. Yes, it comes with a lot more hustle than I anticipated, because I have to arrange a lot of things myself or my team, but it doesn't matter. This is the place, this is the place, this is the place I have envisioned, and this is where we're going to do it. So I'm so excited. Okay, book your ticket if you are feeling called to join us. It's like epic energy. And well, let's keep in touch energetically on Instagram, and you will receive a new podcast episode from me probably next week. Okay, love you guys. Have an amazing day, night, or evening.